In this particular passage, the Gospel of Matthew, we have a difficult saying, one that Flannery Connor actually used as a title of one of her books. The kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent are taking it by force. What are we to make of this? It sounds horrible. What's that about? Well, Bible scholars ponder this one, and they have all kinds of answers to give us. The one that I am most prone to accept is the answer that says there is a sense of needing to be rather violent, that is to say, really demanding and really going for something and grasping and taking, because it's constantly going to be threatened, the kingdom that is. The kingdom made little appearances here and there for centuries and centuries. God is opening up God's self to reveal God's self, and people are able to grasp at God little by little. But it won't be until Jesus, who is the full revelation of God, who shows exactly what God is about. And that sense of knowing that, of really being able to receive that, is exactly the point. It's no more having to be violent in that old way of trying to get the kingdom, but rather it comes to us with grace. It's a gift. It's given to us to receive and not to grasp at with violence. John the Baptist was a great person, clearly. Very powerful. If the church held on to John the Baptist all these years, if we had him in our scriptures, and all four Gospels talk about a John the Baptist, he was a very important person. But as important as John was, his news that he brought, his preaching, wasn't necessarily all that easy to hear and all that good to hear. He lacked that sense of the fullness of the kingdom. He lacked the cross. He didn't live to see the cross. He didn't have that sense of God giving God's self over to us, that it's all gift. Now, this is not to say that we don't on our own part make efforts. It's not all just sitting around eating bonbons and God just comes to us. Our patron here in the church, St. Therese of Lissier, one of the patrons of Paulist, her altar is right up over here. St. Therese was fond of saying that we work really hard, we do the best we can, but ultimately it's God that will come to us and rescue us and save us. It's God's grace. She used the image of herself as a little girl trying to climb the stairs all by herself as a little toddler and not being able to do it all the way, and then God comes whooshing down the steps and picks her up and brings her up the stairs. It's a nice image that we make the effort. We try to understand. We use the brains we've been given to try to figure out, not understand totally, but to appreciate the mystery of God's will and the kingdom. But ultimately, it's a matter of opening ourselves up to the grace when it appears. And it appears everywhere. God's grace is everywhere, in all kinds of ways that sometimes we're too busy to notice. So let's ask ourselves, in this middle of Advent, we're right about smack dab in the middle right now. Christmas Eve will be in 2 weeks. Is that right? Yeah, 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, 2 weeks. So we're right in the middle. Let's ask the Lord to help us to open up our minds and hearts to that presence of grace as we begin to surrender ourselves to the love of God.